Alright, so last night we finally got to witness the long-awaited match between Gennady, Triple G, Golovkin, and Saul Canelo Alvarez. And it did not disappoint. It more or less gave us what we expected. Now, I personally did expect a bit more fireworks, a bit more exchanges between Canelo and between Triple G. But it was a good fight. It was very entertaining, and I think that we did get our money's worth. But like many big fights now in boxing, this fight is surrounded by controversy. Now, before I get into the controversy surrounding this fight, I want to give you guys my scorecards. I had the fight 116-112 in favor of Gennady Golovkin. I do think that he won 8 rounds. You can argue that Canelo won the first round, which would have made it 7-5. I do think it was a close fight, or a majority of the rounds were close, but I think that Golovkin was the aggressor and was landing more. So that's why I gave Gennady Golovkin the fight. Now, one judge had it 115-113 in favor of Triple G, which I can see it. I can completely see and agree that one judge would give Canelo 5 rounds. I don't have a problem with that. Now, another judge saw it as 114-114 and called the fight a draw, which I think that's a bit of a stretch. I don't think Canelo won 6 rounds. I think the most he won was 5, and I think it was pretty clear. But the last card, this is where things get a little bit crazy. Adelaide Bird had the fight 118-110 in favor of Canelo Alvarez. Now, that means that she gave Canelo Alvarez 10 rounds. Now, that is absolutely absurd. I do not know what fight Adelaide Bird was watching. I mean, I'm not sure if she was even paying attention to the fight to give Canelo that many rounds. Now, that is absolutely disgusting, and I think that that's a big reason why many people, or many avid boxing fans, are starting to lose interest, and many people are actually starting to get more into the UFC, because these kinds of robberies don't happen as often as they do in boxing. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, not only are you taking away from the fans, but you're taking away from the fighters. I mean, this is a fight that Gennady Golovkin has been waiting for 2 years now, and he clearly did enough to win. There's no debate, there's no controversy. Now, some of the rounds were close. I did have Canelo winning 2 out of the first 4. I had it 38-38 after the first 4 rounds, and it looked as if Canelo was just gonna outbox Golovkin, as if his speed was just gonna be too much, as well as his counter-punching abilities. But in the 5th round, Gennady Golovkin landed a clean overhand right to the chin of Canelo Alvarez when Canelo had his back against the ropes, and I think it hurt him. Now, after Gennady landed that shot, Canelo started to nod his head no, saying no, as if Golovkin didn't hurt him, but I think he was just putting on a front. I think it did hurt him, and if you pay attention to the rounds after that, round 6, 7, 8, 9, Canelo was a completely different fighter. You can see the demeanor in his face completely change. His confidence was completely diminished. Now, I do think that Canelo Alvarez did have some of the more flashy moments in the fights. There was points in certain rounds, or times in certain rounds, where he landed a few combinations, a few uppercuts, punches in bunches, and I think it made the crowd stand up and cheer, because Canelo was landing some hard shots on Triple G, but he was just eating them and continued to march him down. And I think it wore Canelo Alvarez down. I think it hurt his confidence at the fact that he landed some hard punches to Golovkin's chin, and Golovkin ate them and marched forward. Now, when Golovkin landed clean shots, and majority of his punches were jabs, when he did land the uppercut, when he did land a hook or an overhand, it made Canelo backpedal, because I think he was surprised at the power of Gennady Golovkin. So what would happen right after the first 4 rounds is that, like I said, Canelo would have these flashes or these surges, and then he would take the rest of the round off. He would let Gennady Golovkin just march him down, cut the ring off, which Golovkin is the best at doing, right? He was really neutralizing Canelo's movement, and because of that, Golovkin was wearing Canelo down. He was winning the exchanges. He outlanded him in 10 out of 12 rounds. Now, Canelo did have the slight advantage in power punches, but Golovkin outstruck him by 40 plus punches at the end of the fight. Now, I understand that Golovkin threw, I think, about 200 more punches than Canelo, and Canelo was slightly more accurate, but Canelo only landed 2% more of his punches whilst throwing 200 less than Triple G. So if you look at the accuracy, it wasn't really too far off. Now, there's some people that are giving the fight to Canelo, saying that he outboxed him, that he made Triple G miss. That, I mean, yeah, there were some instances where Triple G was swinging and hitting there because of Canelo's defense and head movement, but Canelo started strong. Like I said, 2 out of the first 4 rounds belonged to him. After that, I did not give him a round until round 11. I had Canelo winning rounds 2 and 3 and 11 and 12. Outside of that, he did not win a round. Triple G was marching him down, being the aggressor, putting the pressure. He was really utilizing his jab well. Now, those diehard Canelo fans can say, oh, he outboxed him. Floyd Mayweather wins fights like that. He wins fights by backpedaling the whole fight. Yeah, but Floyd Mayweather counters, he doesn't get hit, and he lands a majority of his outstrikes. Now Floyd Mayweather has the style where you can't touch him. It's clear that he's outboxing you because he's smarter and better than you. Now Canelo was trying to outbox and he was moving back the entire fight, but he wasn't hurting Golovkin. He wasn't outboxing him the way Floyd Mayweather outboxed his opponents. That didn't happen in this fight. So you can compare Canelo's game plan in this fight to that of Floyd Mayweather's. But if you're moving back the entire fight, you better make sure that you're outstriking your opponent and at the same time not getting hit. Now Canelo wasn't doing either of those things. He did not outstrike Triple G. He was taking hits. But one thing that did surprise me was that Canelo wasn't utilizing his body punches the same way that he was doing in the early rounds, in the later rounds. But I think that once he felt the power of Gennady Golovkin, I think that he kind of forgot his game plan, and I think all he was trying to do was just trying to not get hit, because once he felt that power, he knew that one shot was going to be enough to change the fight. But I mean, like I said, this scorecard, it just really gets me upset, because I mean, it makes it so clear who the judges were favoring, who they wanted to win the fight, and it's Golden Boy's cash cow, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, it was a valiant effort by both fighters, but I mean, this should not happen. I mean, if you're going to favor a fighter, at least make it believable and not give a bogus scorecard like 118 to 110. Now, I don't understand what the point was of making this fight a draw and not just giving it to the clear-cut winner if you're gonna get a rematch anyway. I mean, these two fighters agreed that win, lose, or tie, they were gonna do it again, because this is the fight to make. This is the fight of two boxers that are equally matched and two big names that are gonna bring in the most money. So I really do not understand the purpose of making this fight a draw, even when it clearly wasn't. Golovkin did enough to win the fight, clearly. And if you say otherwise, you probably are just a biased Canelo fan, or you didn't watch the fight. Because I mean, if you actually watched and paid attention, Golovkin outboxed the boxer in Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo cherry-picked his last 3 fights, and when he stepped in there with arguably the best boxer in the world, and most definitely the most feared boxer on the planet, we saw what happened. So I guess all we can do now is just wait for the rematch, wait to see what goes down. But I mean, if it's gonna be like this, if the scoring is gonna be like this, I mean, I don't think there's a point in making a rematch. If there's clearly favoritism, there's clearly biased judges. So I mean, just based on what I saw yesterday, I think that in a rematch the advantage would go to Canelo. Not just necessarily in terms of scoring, because he is the bigger name, but I think that because of his youth and because of his speed and boxing skills and counterpunching abilities, the advantage would go to Canelo in a rematch. So that's kind of why I'm a bit upset right now, because I think this was Golovkin's fight to win, and he did go out there and he did win. But I think this is something to talk about when the rematch is finally scheduled. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to comment down below who you thought won the fight, how you had it scored. And yeah, just let me know who you won. Let me know your opinions. I want to start a conversation down below. I want to see what you guys thought of the fight. So comment down below, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.